What's up? Welcome to 4Ps. Here to pick up my mom. Taking my mom down to Atlanta. This is Ansted, West Virginia, where I'm at. This is where I grew up at. This is my old trailer where I grew up at here in Fayette County, West Virginia. But my mom stays here in the summer, and when it gets cold, she heads down to Atlanta with my brother Gandhi. So I came up here. We're gonna drive her down to Atlanta. Then I'm gonna chill with my brother for a couple days, get my mom settled in real good, then jump on the plane back to Pittsburgh and head back to Morgantown. So this is what 4Ps is gonna be about this weekend. Ansted to Atlanta, back to Pittsburgh, Morgantown. Welcome to 4Ps. First stop, Bluefield, Princeton area. Let's go see what it looks like in here. It's like a nice welcome center.
Oh, thank you.
That guy.
Virginia, you bastard. I was born here, raised here, probably end up laying here, so high off the haze here. I don't know what day it is, know where the boy at, show you where the lady is. Everything dirt cheap, nigga, that's the way it is. Down here in the dub, we get rowdy in the club. I got a dirty bitch, I found her in the mud. Riding down a back road, couldn't sit higher. Some of us got big rims, some of us got big tires.
Bluefield, West Virginia. Getting back on the road right now.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. Oh, about to hit some rain. Great. Alright, just hit South Carolina. As you can tell, it's a lot nicer down south than it was in rainy West Virginia. You know, West Virginia is beautiful too, but this is really nice right now. Yeah, it looks really nice out here. Almost to Atlanta, about 2 hours away from Atlanta. Pit stopping again. Yeah, 4Ps, Ansted to Atlanta trip. I see my brother Gandhi, and I'm pumped. We gonna kick it.
Yo, what's up, man? This Gandhi Jordan. I'm chilling with my brother Eric. We rolling through Decatur right now. Welcome to 4Ps on I-20 West.
I-20.
Leaving east side Atlanta, going through to the west side of Atlanta, Cobb County, Smyrna, Marietta area. Check my mom, so. But yeah, man. Been down here for a minute. My brother was the one actually was down here first, so you know. And then once he came down here, and then I visited, and I was kind of hooked. So.
All right, G. I got my first question for you.
What's up?
Your top 3 hip hop albums.
I gotta throw Boogie Down Productions on this second album.
My Philosophy.
Nah, By Any Means Necessary.
By Any Means Necessary. Okay.
That album was like so big to me because you know. At the time, I was in West Virginia, wasn't a whole lot of hip hop there, so that album, I just kept running it. But that was the one where KRS on Your MTV Raps at the video. He came out the Jeep in black and white. You know, it's for My Philosophy. But the whole album was banging, so I gotta throw that in there. Gotta throw Illmatic in there because I feel like that album kind of like changed, you know, the way hip hop was before. You know, MCs was rhyming fast. You had MCs like Ice Cube and you know. Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Chuck D, Rakim, you know, they all were good lyricists, but nobody was flipping it that way, like back and forth, you know, just rhyming that fast, acrobatically, and you know, and they had the streets, you know, he's representing Queensbridge, so that's a real dope album. Then all the producers on there, you know, you had Premier, Pete Rock, Large Professor, so I got to throw Illmatic. Might have to throw like the Chronic in there, you know, because I think that like Dre, you know, was in his prime. It was like a young Snoop, you know, real energetic young Snoop, you know, and you know that right there, man, like 1 through 16 was crazy. They had the whole Dog Pound on there, Corrupt and all that. So just off the top of my head, there's so many different other ones, you know what I mean? The Blueprint 2, shoot, I could name, you know, Outkast, Southern Playlist. To get so many different, you know, it's hard to just name 3, but if I had it off the top of my head, I'd probably go with those 3.
Okay, it's a good 3. It's definitely a good 3. Tell me about you playing ball in Ansted.
Oh man,
Ansted, West Virginia.
In Ansted.
What was it like to play ball in Midland Trail and go to school at Midland Trail? And you only went there for how long?
Went there 2 years. On my freshman and sophomore year in high school. Yeah, it was different. It's a small school, but you know, in that area they really get behind their high school sports, the football, basketball. So, you know, all the games, you know, were not, the community came out to support the games, which was, you know, that was real nice, you know.
You tell me about your relationship with your coach. He was a passionate coach.
Yeah, Coach Spicer, Tom Spicer. Yeah, actually, I was going to middle school in Montgomery my 8th grade year, and him and my dad met at a Food Land, a grocery store down there. And I guess he saw me play a little bit of middle school ball, and he had told, you know, my dad, like, you know, if he comes up here, I'll let him play point guard. And at that time, I was, you know, tall for my size. I was probably about maybe 6 foot or 6'1" or something like that. But I had patterned my whole, growing up, my whole game to Magic. You know, because Magic was a big guard, 6'9" guard. So
right.
I always, you know, try to dribble, handle the ball, bring the ball up the court, make passes and stuff like that.
Right.
And, you know, at Montgomery, they had me playing small forward. You know, in those situations back in the day, the biggest kid played like center or power forward. But I knew that, you know, if you really want to do something beyond, like, you know, high school and even beyond that, you just got to play your position. And that's what happens to a lot of guys in high school. They get put in positions where they needed on a high school team. It might not be the best thing for them past high school. So anyway, the coach was like, I seen him play, you know, I let him play guard if you come to Midland Trail. So
now, how did Oak Hill Academy happen? How did all that come about? Down in Mount of Wilson, Virginia, Oak Hill Academy, the very prestigious high school, very, very prestigious high school. A lot of ballers there. Carmelo, Anthony, Rondo. Who else am I forgetting?
Durant.
KD.
Kevin Durant, Josh Smith, Rondo, Ty Lawson. They got large alumni to play in the league. But Kevin Durant and Melo are the top two. But
who was on your squad when you went there?
Well, we had a McDonald's All-American. His name was Anthony Cade. He was supposed to go to Oklahoma at the time, but he went JUCO for a year and then he never really heard too much. But I also had a cat, Ben Davis. He went to Kansas and then transferred and finished up at Arizona. He actually did good at Arizona. And then we had a shooting guard, Carlos Cofield. He went to Rhode Island. So I know we had like 4 or 5 D1s. I went to Pitt, so we didn't lose a game my senior year. We went 28-0, 29-0. But nah, it was a good experience.
Man,
you know,
y'all was USA, #1 USA Today.
Nah, we was number 2 ESPN, number 3 USA Today. Okay, and so we was top 3 in both polls, but number 2 in ESPN. The other team was defeated. It was a team out of Chicago called Simeon, I think, or Martin Luther King, one of them. And I wish that now they have playoffs. They take like top 3 or 4 teams and they fly them like Nike and they play each other in the top 4 teams. So I wish they had that then, but they didn't. So it was just off the rankings. Yeah, but it was cool though, because you know it was a real step up in competition. Like my sophomore year at Midland Trail, you know, we made the state tournaments. You know, I made All-State, average, you know, 22. Thought I was the man. I went there and they had, you know, 6'9", 6'10", centers and power forwards. At my public school in West Virginia, Midland Trail, our biggest guy was like 6'5", so it was definitely a transition, but it made me better. So yeah, it was good those 2 years at Oak Hill.
Yeah, then you went to play on the Pitt in Hartford.
Yeah. Well, I got recruited mostly by mid-Division I schools at Oak Hill. You know, a lot of like, you know, Tulane, Siena's, Colorado State, you know, a lot of Atlanta 10s, Duquesne, Rhode Island. They was recruiting me. Pitt was the only big time. Like I signed early, which if I maybe would have waited to sign late, I could have had more offers, but I didn't want to risk getting hurt. So I was just like, I gotta take the bird in the hand. I'm gonna take, you know, Pitt was basically like, yo, you wanna come? All the schools like, yo, we'll give you a full ride. So I visited 4 or 5 schools, and when Pitt came, you know, to visit me at Oak Hill, they showed me the TV schedule, and at that time, like the year before, they was ranked #1. They had Charles Smith and Jerome Lane. You know, they was #1 for like a week or 2, then they got knocked, but they went down. But because of their high rankings and the success with Charles Smith and Jerome Lane, they had a lot of TV exposure. So like all the games were on ESPN, CBS, and the Big East at that time was like the top premier conference. You know, Lonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Derek Coleman. You know, it was real thick back then. UConn hadn't came up quite as much. It was mostly Georgetown and Syracuse, St. John's, Malik Sealy. So it was like the premier conference. So Pitt was like a middle of the road team in there, you know, like, you know, making a tournament every year, but like, you know, 5th, 6th team in the league. So I was like, it's gonna be really good competition. So I was like, I was gonna give that a shot. So I went there and it was good. I really enjoyed playing at Pitt. And I actually, you know, had some success, you know, my freshman and sophomore year. That's how I went. I went to University of Hartford, and actually, it's funny because like when you transfer, you get like 5 more visits. So it was like the whole recruiting process started over again. I had like 4 schools, you know, like Butler, which was they had blown up. Yeah, there was like a smaller D1 school. Siena again, and then Hartford. And when I went to Hartford, they had a player, Vin Baker, who ended up being like a 4-time All-Star. You know, played on the Olympic team and everything. And Vin Baker played Milwaukee Bucks and Supersonics. He was going into his senior year. He could have left for his junior. They had a mock draft for him leaving his junior year. He would have been like the number 7 pick. But he stuck around and come back for his senior year. And on my visit up to Hartford, he basically like, man, it's a cool environment, you know. It's like, and, you know, it's a small school trying to come up. And so, and I just liked the feel when I was there, so I went on to transfer to Hartford. And it was cool. Hartford was real cool, man. I had a good experience on the court and off the court. You know, basically the coach told me when I was transferring, you know, he knew I was fighting for minutes at Pitt. You know, I was getting run some games I wasn't. He was like, you know, basically if you go 1 for, you know, 5 in the first half, he said, I gotta live with you because, you know, I ain't got nobody better. So I was like, I just want to go somewhere and have some freedom and play. You know, if I can make a mistake, I still in the game and not get yanked. So I chose Hartford. But yeah, that might saw the last 4 Ps. What Monstalung was talking about, you know, our dad and how the group Black Star had sampled one of his poems for their first album, which a lot of people consider like a classic record. But yeah, this is it. You know, that's my dad in the right there. So we both got a little resemblance. And yeah, that's the group, that's the album cover, Black Star with Mos Def and Twali. And then this is the vinyl. And right here is the caption with the poem on it. We're not critic. I actually got to take that back and see if they can, like I guess, put some adhesive back on it. But yeah, this meant a lot to me because, you know, growing up, I became a fan of hip hop like real early. You know, I was born in '72. They say that's like the same year hip hop was created, so I feel like I kind of grew up with it from like, you know, 80s to mid 80s to, you know, 90s. So when they came out, they were like a critically acclaimed underground group, you know, that was getting a lot of notoriety, and it was cool that they used some of my dad's art to put into their music. So, you know, once we found out about it, you know, I just, you know, wanted to give my dad a shout out. You know, it was like a little validation because we already knew my dad was creative and was kind of already out, you know, on some different stuff and thinking ahead of the game, you know. But it was cool, they peeped it out because they could go anywhere with different stuff, but they peeped it out and put in their music. So yeah, it was just a little something I got for him. So yeah, I'm about to just put it up here on my wall. Right there, and then at some point, like I said, I'm gonna get that fixed. But yeah, it's a nice piece, man. It's just a constant reminder of, you know, the creativity my dad had, and then it's also, you know, part of hip hop, which, you know, like I said, hip hop's meant so much to me throughout my life. You know, it's just like I grew up from an early age, you know, and to this day, and even with my kids, I still, you know, pass, you know, the hip hop culture on. So yeah, that's it.
Just, man, I'm about to wrap up my Atlanta trip, man. I had a good time. Got my mom up here. Got to spend time with my baby brother.
No doubt, no doubt.
We always kick it strong.
Yeah,
a lot of beats, a lot of freestyling. We didn't get our hoop in like we usually do.
Yeah.
That was more on me. I'm getting older now. These long trips, I got to rest my body. So I had to rest my body. But, yeah, man, I just wanted to sign off. I'm headed back to Morgantown, West Virginia tomorrow. Go to Pittsburgh Airport, all that craziness, all that. Yeah, man, but yeah.
Nah, it's been a beautiful trip, man. It's like whenever E come in town, it's just a natural thing, man. We've been doing it so long, you know, 6 years apart. It's not a lot. So it's even when he was 12, I was 6, and so on and so forth. You know, 18, 12, we were still close enough where, you know, we could still wrestle and fight with each other and pick at each other, and, you know, and argue and all that, but still love each other to death. You know, we love each other to death, kind of toughen each up over the years. So whenever I see him, I always embrace him. And, you know, hip hop and sports is just like throughout. It's like we can just sit all day and just listen to beats and watch sports and you know, just talk about family stuff. So
philosophize.
Yeah. So it's always a beautiful thing.
Believe me, y'all don't even know the half of what we done, and you never know.
Good and bad. Good and bad. But yeah, nah, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad you came down, bro.
Yeah. Love you, boy.
Love you too, man.
Once again, you can always check me out at Monstalung Sound Vision. That's my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, leave a comment, share. Also, follow me on Facebook, Monstalung, Instagram, Monstalung, Twitter, Monstalung. That's Monstalung. Once again, my brother G, Gandhi, Atlanta, GA. This is Monstalung, 4 Ps. Catch you next week.
Peace.